What's up, YouTube? My name is Lucas Jones, part of the News Over Brews crew, and we're here doing another Behind the Brews segment, this time at Artisans Brewery and Italian Grill. So let's go inside and take a look at what they have to offer. Welcome to Behind the Brews, a show where we pop the cap off of your favorite beers and find out a little bit about the people who make them. So come with us as we give a hearty cheers to craft beer. This time on Behind the Brews, we are at Artisans Brewery and Italian Grill. Located at 1171 Cooper Avenue in Toms River, New Jersey, Artisans was right under our nose, so we just had to stop in and get a taste of what they're all about. Chef Steven.
Lucas, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
We're so happy you're here.
Yeah, well, we'd love to ask you a couple of questions about Artisans, find out what you guys got going on.
Let's do it.
All right, cool. So, Chef Steven, how did Artisans get its start?
Well, the brewery's been here since 1998. We used to operate under a different name. We changed the name to Artisans Brewery and Italian Grill in 2010, January 1st, 2010. And I think that name really encapsulates what we do here. All homemade beer, unfiltered, unpasteurized. Well, we do filter some of them. Our brewer absolutely practices proper German brewing laws, so only the good stuff goes into our beverages. And, all of our food is made from scratch. And, we do a really dynamite wine list and beverage program here. And, it was the right move for us to change the name to Artisans.
Was there always the idea to have the brew pub be a component of the restaurant, or did it just start out as a restaurant?
In 1998, we opened here as a brewery restaurant,
okay.
A micro-brewery, absolutely.
All right, excellent. So you mentioned that you have some programs, some beverage programs, and we looked it up online. We saw you have a beer and wine club.
The beer club is a really cool thing because you pay a really nominal fee, and then you drink our home-brewed beer for a discounted price. And then we also have a really great bottle menu. Small format, large format, lots of great craft ciders, and you get discounts on those as well during happy hour.
So at the end of the day, if someone's coming to Artisans for lunch or dinner, what can they expect, and what do you hope that people take away?
Well, I think they're going to expect a really high level of hospitality because that's what we preach to them morning, noon, and night. That is number one. Great service, and then really, I think, creatively prepared, high-quality food, done in the most rapid fashion that we can do it, because everybody's on the move.
All right, well, thank you so much, and let's go check out some of the beers you guys have made.
Let's do it.
We are here with Dave Hoffman. Dave, it's nice to meet you.
All right, same here. Nice to meet you.
You are the head brewer here at Artisans.
Yes.
So we'd like to ask you a couple of questions and then taste what you've made.
Okay.
So first, we'll start off. How long have you been brewing? How did you start brewing?
I started off. It was a hobby. How I got started was there used to be a store in Clark called Baumel's, and this was 30 years ago, and he had 500 different kinds of beer 30 years ago, which was unheard of at the time. So me and my friend, every Friday night, we'd spend $25 on beer. Sometimes we got 10 bottles, sometimes we got 4 bottles, until we worked our way through all 500 beers. And then we kind of ran out of beer after about a year and a half. And I said to my friend Doug, hey, I've been getting Popular Science since I'm 15. I keep seeing in the back, brew your own. So I said, why don't we order some homebrew kits and make our own, and give it a go. So we bought some homebrew kits, gave it a go. Both our beers came out pretty decent, for what was available back then. Started doing a little reading, a little more research, started making more beers. And the more beers we made, the better they came out.
How long have you been at Artisans?
I've been here almost 10 years now. 9 to 10 years.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm here is because my friend Tom was the brewer here. I kind of got him his job here as the brewer through a friend of mine, and Tom was a little older, and his parents started getting a little sick, and he said to me, Dave, since you got me the job, maybe you could take over for me for a little while. This way, when I want to come back, my job is still there. And I said, well, it's going to be kind of rough because I'm running my own business, but I said, how many hours a week? And he told me like 10 to 15 hours. And I thought, that's not much. I can do it on a Saturday and on my free time. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, I'll do that for my friend, And so I took over for him, and, things just didn't go right. His parents never got better. Or, they kind of wound up, don't want to say, they wound up passing. And he decided that he really didn't want to come back after that because he had too much work with the house and everything, So I kind of just stayed, I kind of like coming here. It's a detraction from my other work because there I'm the boss, and my bullshit never ends, to be honest with you. So here I just come in, I do my thing, make, whatever kinds of beers I want. And in my brewery, we have our set lineup, and you make the same beers day in and day out. Here, coming here, this gives me my brewing freedom. I make lots of beers here that I would never make in my brewery because I know it's too much packaging, too much money on everything. And you're always taking a chance. Is it going to sell or isn't it going to sell? So.
Right. Well, so you mentioned that you get to really have some freedom here. So, like, when you build your recipes, do you start from tried and true formulas and kind of add things, or do you go from the ground up?
No, I've been brewing beer for like 30 years, so if I formulate a recipe, I know what that beer is going to taste like before I make it. And you can tell me any style of beer. I could whip up a recipe in 10 minutes, and I know exactly what that beer is going to taste like before I make it because, I've been brewing that long.
Mm-hmm. Well, I personally am a huge fan of Abbey Double, so let's go grab a tasting and get down to it.
Okay, very good.
Back, and we've got the most important part of our Behind the Brew segment, which is the beers that you guys have made. So first, we'll go ahead and try the light ale you've made.
Yeah, it's light in color. I mean, you can see it's very, very light in color, but for how light in color it looks, it has a real lot of flavor. It's very bready and grainy and soft and easy to drink.
Wow, yeah.
And it goes down real easy.
I really like you mentioned, it's bready, and it's got that extra layer of flavor that a lot of generic light beer misses out on.
Yeah, because typically when they make light beers, they're just taking heavier beers and watering them down. Mm-hmm. And that's what gives you that watery quality in a light beer. Here, I don't make a watered down beer. This is actually, the whole recipe is a light beer recipe. And it's very light, it's 100 calories or less. But when you drink it, it tastes like a Pilsner almost,
right,
because it has that much flavor. So this is proof positive that you truly can make a good tasting light beer. So the next beer we're going to do is the Irish Red. Now, this is a real nice style of beer. When you look at it, it has that blood red color in the glass. It's very deep red mahogany color. And that comes from the use of roasted barley and Crystal 60. And what I love about this beer is it's soft, it's not very bitter, but it's a nice session beer, a drinking man's beer.
Yeah, I like the way you said it was soft, but it's also it's earthy, which is nice. It's got like you said, the roasted, that little bit of bitterness. It's very nice and definitely very session.
It's very lightly bitter, yeah, but you get the caramel, then you get the coffee-ish note. And then in the aftertaste, you get that real little orange marmalade-y thing going on. Okay, so the next one, this is our Oktoberfest beer. Now, this is a real, truly traditional Oktoberfest beer. These are small glasses, but if you put it in a pint, it's very orange in color.
Yeah, I really enjoy this. It's nice, it's malty, it's, again, it's well-rounded and sessionable. You keep
balanced.
Yeah, I keep coming back to those words, but that's true. Yeah.
These are the beers that they drink all night.
Exactly. So let's head to what I'm really looking forward to, which is the Abbey Double. I saw it on the website when I was looking you guys up, and I was really, really excited.
Okay, so this beer is real deceiving too because it's 9% alcohol, and this beer, the flavors I love about this beer, they're kind of like the dark fruits of winter.
Wow.
Plums and dates and raisins with a little touch of chocolate in the finish.
Yep.
And then from that Abbey yeast, because Abbey yeasts have very particular flavors, I call it like a little bubbly gummy kind of taste in the background, which kind of all works together, you know? And you taste it and you go, wow, I never had anything that tasted like that because it's so unique and interesting. But it all kind of works together. And first thing you notice when you put it in your mouth is it warms you up because of the 9%.
Yeah.
But then as the beer coats your tongue, it touches all over and you're like, wow, that has, you get figs right away, which you don't expect to taste in a beer, or dates or even raisins, And so you're like, wow, that's kind of cool tasting. And the more you drink it, the more flavors you're going to get out of it because it's a very complex recipe. This beer.
So I really like the dark fruits, and it's really great flavor. And the great thing about it is you have this really kind of dark color, but it's such a light beer.
Yeah.
It's not super heavy, even with the high alcohol. It's a very refreshing, fruity, but not sweet. So let's move on to our final beer, and you wanted to save the West Coast IPA for the very end because of the bitterness of it. So why don't you go ahead and introduce this?
All right. So now this beer is some people say pale ale should be very pale and yellow, but if you read the style guidelines for India Pale Ale in the book, it allows you to have that coppery color, And so this beer, upon smelling it, you get a nice citrusy, hoppy aroma, maybe with a little grapefruity going on.
Mm-hmm.
You'll put the beer in the mouth, and then the bitterness is going to bite you. And then after the bitterness bites you comes the nice citrusy hop note from the West Coast hops.
I've never had somebody narrate more perfectly what was happening as I was drinking that beer than you just did, because you're exactly right. You drink it and you get that bitter, but then it's kind of washed away by a really surprisingly citrus, because normally when you have beers and they say citrus, you get, oh, I kind of taste that, but no, this is like
real citrusy.
This is real citrusy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, thank you so much for having us here and for giving us some of your beer. It's all been fantastic. Like you said, it's that balanced beer that a lot of people sometimes forget is important.
Right.
All right, so that was Artisans Brewery and Italian Grill. Great food, great beers, and really a great atmosphere to come hang out. So this is Lucas Jones from News Over Brews, signing off from Tom's River, New Jersey at Artisans Grill. See you next time.